So great, I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world, I talk to God every day. If God's with the king, no matter, he'll get us the same. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
I said, can I be a legend? Search your soul and answer me this question. Do you think I have what it takes to be great, but still be humble and learn from my mistakes? Shit.
Cool. I am ready.
Super Bowl Sunday, and where else to be but here on this Just In with your pregame show. Like, I don't want to say screw the other places, but yeah, basically screw the other places. You're here to watch with us. If you are a regular fan of this show, then I don't have to introduce you to Adam. You know Adam from Thursday. So let's start with our other special guest, none other than Jansen Harris from the Just Good Network. Introduce yourself, Jansen, and tell us about, first thing, which team do you back and what do you do?
I appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be on. And I do a lot of podcasting, make a lot of videos, and shout out to Adam. Appreciate you on. We do a lot of things together. And Justin, we've been talking back out of yours, so very appreciative to be on and to network with you guys and to talk sports. But yeah, man, covered high school sports. We're doing a lot of big things with Just Good Network. We're doing a lot of video-based stuff, a lot of audio. We're even bringing it back, man. We're talking about some of the old school stuff for all the old heads out there who think young guys don't know about old school sports. We're doing that as well too. So again, happy for the Super Bowl. It's a big time day. Happy to talk sports with you guys.
Well, sorry, I didn't want to gloss over you, but you know more fans are accustomed to you. But
Of course.
yeah, tell us about yourself as well, Adam. Like, just getting there quickly.
Yeah, man, of course, you guys know Adam Lewis, host of the What Off Season Sports Podcast. Find me on any social media platform, What Off Season Pod, What Off Season Sports Pod. I'm sure you'll find me on social somewhere after this. Super excited to get into the Super Bowl today. Ready for Tom Brady to win number 7 in the 10th Super Bowl. And overall, I think everyone's going to see that Mahomes is magical, but you eventually got to scale it back a little bit. So I'm ready for today. It's going to be a great day. Maybe we can even complain about the NFL awards a little bit, but we'll see what happens today. I'm excited to be on it, guys.
Well, yeah, you jump right into it. So let's go, guys. Super Bowl Sunday. There are so many storylines that you just mentioned there, Adam. But, guys, what is the biggest storyline, or what's the storyline that y'all are most looking forward to ahead of tonight's matchup?
You want me to go first?
Yeah,
go right ahead, man.
Okay, thank you, man. I just don't want to talk over you. I'll be talking too loud. But I want to see Shaq Barrett and JPP, what they do with this offensive line of Kansas City. I know Fisher is out. He got hurt, unfortunately, at the worst of times. And I want to see if they could hold up, because if the Bucs get consistent pressure, and I said this before, I think if Shaq Barrett gets upfield, gets his hands up, starts heading on Mahomes, it could be a long day. Now, I have the Chiefs winning, so I don't think that'll happen, but it could happen. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking out for. I want to see who wins the line of scrimmage battle. Shaq Barrett, you're in a contract year. You signed the franchise tag. You want big money. Money's on the line for Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett comes out here, gets 2 sacks or a strip sack, whatever the heck he does. You know how this league is. They're going to look at that game and be like, okay, yeah, big money your way. So this could be a make or break game for Shaq Barrett. I think he's an X factor. I think he's dangerous. The Chiefs are going to have to throw double teams his way. They're going to have to find ways to block him and make sure he doesn't affect this game, because him and JPP can be disruptive. You got to watch out for those two guys.
Talking about a crazy matchup up, man, you got to look at Travis Kelce and those Buccaneers linebackers. I think that's going to be one of the biggest matchups of this Sunday. I know we got Brady. I know we got Mahomes, but Travis Kelce in this postseason is averaging 11 catches, over 100 yards, and basically 2 touchdowns a game. And I know he's only played 2 games, but you look at him leading all, I want to say having that legendary season, most receiving yards ever by a tight end. Probably would have led the NFL in receiving yards had he played in Week 17. He chose not to. He was going to preserve his body for the game. He knew he was going to be here on Super Bowl Sunday. But I think Travis Kelce, if he gets going, it could be a long day for the Buccaneers. But you also got to look at Devin White and Levante David. Are they going to be able to get a hold of Travis Kelce? I expect maybe a little bit of pushing and shoving. You don't necessarily know what could happen with that. But overall with Travis Kelce, when he brings that physicality, that aggression, that speed, we could see a big matchup there. And I think that's going to be a huge one for us.
I like the angles that both y'all went with because arguably, everyone wants to talk about the student versus the master.
I don't want our show to be cut short. Let me plug in my laptop, but I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're good. We're not going anywhere. So yes, fans, you heard it. We're not going anywhere. No commercial breaks, nothing like that. We're going straight through for an hour, maybe even an hour and a half. But yeah, for me, obviously the obvious storyline, Tom Brady versus his heir apparent. Will Tom Brady hang it up here, regardless of the result? Whether he wins, does he go on a high?
Gentlemen?
No, that's fine. Does he go on a high with 7 Super Bowls? Does he lose and still decide, I can't go out and lose and come back? But I think that's almost like the obvious one. For me, it has been the coordinators. Will they get enough respect, or will they eventually get jobs after this? You see, obviously, Eric Bieniemy has become the poster child for what a lot of people have called, the NFL's, for lack of a better word, racist treatment of their coordinators, or at least black coordinators. Eric Bieniemy has been passed over 3 straight years for head coaching jobs, and we've seen the vacancies. There were 7 vacancies, and all of them were filled, I want to say, by first-time head coaches. Then on the flip side, when you load up Tampa Bay, they also have 2 great coordinators, one in Byron Leftwich and the other, I want to say, former Jets head coach.
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles. And I think he was the reason, more so than Tom Brady, while they got to the Super Bowl, because if you saw Todd Bowles' defense just basically wrecked my game plan as a Green Bay Packer. So I want to see, coming out of this game, if these coordinators are going to get, the respect that they deserve. But let's not go too far away from the obvious matchup. We all want to talk about Brady versus Mahomes. So for y'all guys, and I'm going to start with you now, Adam, does this game decide on Brady's legacy?
Hell no, absolutely not. Come on, man. I mean, it is Tom Brady we're talking about. Is it going to
ask.
Yeah, right. Is this going to wipe every hater off the face of the earth when Tom Brady wins number 7 tonight? Yeah, because what more can you say? First year in the NFC, first year with a different knew everything, bro. You bring your crippled, marred tight end Rob Gronkowski out of retirement to come win the Super Bowl with you. You're in the Super Bowl at home with the super team. Like, every reason why you probably shouldn't have made it there, you're there. Now you're going to win. It's going to be a fantastic game. I think it's going to be a great game. But, as far as really deciding Tom's legacy, no. Is it going to add on to it and really just establish himself really above every NFL player? Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about that. But as far as deciding his legacy, no. I wouldn't say that, man. Not at all.
Is Jansen still there? Because I've seen he's been drinking his green tea. I think he stepped off. Yeah, there he is.
Yes, absolutely. I think if Tom Brady could get this 7th ring, even if he doesn't, we're going to have to reevaluate and look at him as potentially the best athlete ever. And he also fits that mold.
Whoa. Did you just say, Johnson, the best athlete ever? Did I hear?
We could be bringing that discussion up when we talk about Tom Brady, because what he's done was this. He has went from the AFC to the NFC. He's taken a Bucs team. We put in perspective that hasn't been to even the playoffs since 2007. You saw what the Bucs looked like with Jameis Winston. I like Jameis Winston, honestly, but he's just not that guy compared to Tom Brady. And Tom Brady took this team. He brought the leadership there. He brought a certain certainty to this team, championship vibe. And if he could win a championship tonight, he already beat Patrick Mahomes when he shouldn't even had a reason to beat him. That Chiefs team should have won and went to the Super Bowl, but they didn't. You're going to look at him, and we potentially could look at the greatest athlete ever. So if they win the Super Bowl, that's going to be the discussion. Because I already think he's better than LeBron James. As much as I love LeBron James, he's better than Michael Jordan as well, too.
Whoa. I mean,
here we go.
We're not even 10 minutes into the show and Jansen's dropping bombs. So are you then saying for me then, you have Tom Brady, if he wins the Super Bowl, as the greatest winner of all time, more so than Michael Jordan, more so than Wayne Gretzky, more so than Derek Jeter, and more so than Bill Russell. This is what we can hold Jansen Harris on this show to be saying.
Well, you know what? Let me say this. You mentioned one name in Bill Russell. I think Bill Russell can hit me up and say, look, you're being irresponsible. But a lot of those other guys, I would put him ahead of definitely LeBron James and Michael Jordan. He wins this one. Absolutely. And I like LeBron James more than I like any of these guys. But I'm just keeping it real. Tom Brady's a winner. He wins. He's been to so many super. It's hard in the NFL.
That's
When was the last time you've seen a team go back to back? I think it's easier in the NBA to win championships. I hate to say it, but it's just
hard
easier.
it is hard to win Super Bowls in the NFL.
So Tom Brady, you know what? And let's just keep it real. He's not as marketable as some of these other quarterbacks. So it's not boosted up like that. Where he's not as a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan. But he's definitely in that. He's definitely in that class. He's definitely could go down as the best athlete ever. There's no reason he shouldn't be in the discussion already. But if they win this championship, which I'm not picking the Bucks, but if they do win the championship, which is a high possibility, you never know with Tom Brady and what the Bucks have done, and they've been impressive. If they could do that, yeah, definitely the best athlete ever should be in that discussion.
I think we got to give him one more year before we call him the best athlete of all time. Let him do it next year. We can call him the best athlete.
But he's 43, Adam. That's all I'm saying. He's an old guy.
Jansen, they built a super team around him. They gave him every piece this man needed. They took Tom Brady from the crippled foundation of New England and said, here's an embarrassment of riches. Here is arguably the second or third greatest roster in the NFL outside of like Kansas City and hell, I don't know, maybe Buffalo, New Orleans, Seattle. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at all those loaded rosters, like they're loaded, bro. So I'm not taking anything away from you. I just think, because you're going to get the argument of, anybody and not anybody, but okay, he did it one time. You know, they had that super team around him. Let the Bucks go through a little more. And who knows? They could be even scarier next year. You look at Tom Brady saying, I think we're going to be a lot better next year. Don't be surprised if the Bucs are favored to win the Super Bowl next year. But I think we'd have to give him one more year just to show a little continuity, just because there's all those haters, those naysayers. You know, you got guys talking about Eli not being a potential Hall of Famer when he has beat Brady twice in the biggest game of all time. So as far as that talk for Brady, I know there's going to be some haters. I think we got to give him one more year before we say the greatest athlete of all time.
I just think this, Adam. I look at it and I say, yes, the team has put some pieces around Tom Brady, but I've seen teams put pieces around, but not get the job done. I don't think if any other quarterback in this league is on Tampa Bay this year, they'll bring them to the Super Bowl. I just don't believe that. I don't believe it. Because even Shaq Barrett, and you know how important the pass rush is. As an edge rusher, he led the league in sacks with 19.5 last year, right? Yep. And that was his best season. He fell off this year. He scaled back a lot before that NFC Championship game. And Jameis still couldn't get up to the playoffs. I think the quarterback position matters so much. Unfortunately, you know, I'm a big fan of the running game. But unfortunately, the quarterback position matters so much that Tom Brady, his greatness, his leadership, most importantly, I think, is the reason they're here. Yes, the team has weapons. Yes, they brought in stars. And that's what a competent organization should do. When you have the best player in the league, arguably, you need to bring in the best players around them. You need to feed him what he does right. That's what New England wasn't doing when he was there with no weapons that last year, but when they got knocked out the playoffs by the Titans. So I think Tampa Bay has shown their organization that they're competent, and they knew that Tom Brady could still win. And this championship, I think that puts him in the discussion. If they win it next year, forget about it, man. I don't know what I'll be saying.
Right. I don't know either, bro.
I didn't even expect this. I need to bring Jansen on the show more often because that was a bomb I did not expect within the first 10 minutes. So since we're on the topic or discussion of things to talk too early about, guys, I mean, we've already gone down this channel here, but if Patrick Mahomes wins this Super Bowl, is it too early to call him a top 10 quarterback of all time already? I'm gonna start with you, Jansen, because you're dropping bombs already, so I'm gonna go with you, Jansen.
This is very tough, man. This is tough. You know, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna be respectful today. I'm gonna be respectful today. I'll be on my best behavior. There's been so many great quarterbacks. I mean, so far, I low key want. I'd be thinking top 5, man. Just naturally thinking top 5, but I think Patrick Mahomes, he needs to show and continue to show his dominance in the league, but it is going to be hard to keep him off that top 10 list if he wins the second championship already. I mean, this guy isn't even 26 years old. It's kind of mind-blowing what he's done already, but things can change in the NFL. Things can change. I'm not a Patrick Mahomes hater. I'm more of a supporter than hater, but things can change in this league. I remember at one point seeing Kurt Warner play. I thought, okay, this is a guy who's going to win 2, 3, maybe 4 championships, especially when that Rams team they were getting things rolling. That offense was just crazy good. I'm not trying to compare both of them. I'm just saying, like, you never know what happens. I thought Aaron Rodgers would win about 3 Super Bowls the way he was looking.
Thank you.
So we need to be patient. The league changes. I don't know if there's a guy in college as good as Patrick Mahomes. Probably not, but you never know the way this league is. It's the NFL. It's not the NBA. I think the NBA is more of okay, this guy's the best player and he's the best player for a while. The NFL is a little bit different, but so far so good with Patrick Mahomes. He's on pace to be the best quarterback ever. But let me judge him at 27, 28 years old to put him in the top 10.
Jansen, I love you so much for saying that, man, because a lot of things that are pissing me off right now about people is they're like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is like, oh, man, he could already potentially be the greatest of all time. And let's not kid ourselves. Like, this kid's definitely on pace. His first 3 years in the NFL. Could have went to the the Super Bowl his first year as a starter. He basically won the MVP as a rookie. If we're really getting technical about it, his first full 16 games should have been in the Super Bowl, probably should have won the MVP that year, won the Super Bowl last year and the Super Bowl MVP, and he's right back here again, already thrown for 10,000 yards. Like, we don't know if the kid's going to throw for 700 touchdowns, whatever the case may be. He's a freak of nature. But the thing about Patrick Mahomes, and you alluded to it perfectly, is let the kid be in the NFL for a while. Life comes at you fast in the NFL. Look at the Rams a couple years ago, the year that they went to the Super Bowl. Go into last year, losing all the talent that they did, regressing back some. The offensive line was getting old, and overall, Jared Goff stepped back. Of course, Mahomes is not going to step back, but are they going to be able to pay all these people? Are they going to be able to keep all these pieces, keep that continuity? Because that's what keeps teams great for so long. You look at New England, a lot of those coaches in front office stayed the same. Brady, the GM, the coach, and the owner, a lot of those stayed the same. Of course, you had the pieces revolving, but they were able to do it well. And I see that happening in Kansas City, but you alluded to it perfectly, Jansen. So many things can happen in the NFL, and we got to give Mahomes some time. Now, if we're talking about Mahomes winning tonight, Justin, like you said, and being top 10 of all time, absolutely, there's no question. Giving, like I said, his first 3 years in the NFL, the kid's been an MVP candidate every year. That's pretty remarkable. I don't know if we've seen someone come out of the gate this strong, this quick. I mean, Russell Wilson with the back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, but Seattle's not really been anything since. You brought up Aaron Rodgers, and that's what really messes me up about people is Aaron Rodgers is the most prime and present day example that a lot of us, we're talking about being the greatest of all time. All the Super Bowls he was going to win to ever do it. And I'm not crapping on Aaron Rodgers at all, but let the NFL, let it go. Let Patrick Mahomes have to deal with a Tyreek Hill out for 7 to 8 weeks, a 65% Travis Kelce. Things like that happen naturally, and I just don't feel like the Chiefs have had to face their adversity yet. And so that's why I'm perfectly relating with you on that, Jansen. No question.
Now, here's the thing, guys, and I agree with both of you, and Adam would know me that I'm not typically a prisoner of the moment. So here I'm going to drop my bomb. If he does win this second Super Bowl, I've seen enough quarterbacks to think this dude is actually a top 10 player. And here's my reasoning. This is going to sound crazy, right? And this is not me crapping on your guy, Adam, but let's take Drew Brees. In most people's estimation, Drew Brees is a top 10 all-time quarterback, right?
Right.
When you compare the two, if indeed Patrick wins tonight, what, except for obviously longevity and all the passing records that Drew Brees obviously will be passed by Tom Brady at some point. I mean, the passing records, the passing yardage, because he already has the touchdowns. What does Drew Brees have that Patrick Mahomes doesn't?
Right.
Because he's going to have 2 Super Bowls if he wins. He has an MVP in which Drew Brees does not have. And I want to say at least about 2 other top 3 MVP finishes, because if he probably finished second or third this year. And guys, when it through, John Elway has 2 Super Bowls and that's the back end of the career. You can arguably say John Elway was not the best player on the Denver Broncos when they inevitably won in the back end of his career. That was Terrell Davis. Then you look through like Johnny Unitas. I don't think he has. No, Johnny Unitas does have a Super Bowl. An MVP. But you look through so many others, like Dan Marino does not have a Super Bowl, and I think Dan Marino only has like one MVP. I don't see a situation where Patrick Mahomes finishes his career with only one regular season MVP. If he gets 2 Super Bowls, and I mean, how many quarterbacks are there with multiple Super Bowls? You're talking about the greats. You're talking about Peyton Manning, and when Peyton Manning won his second, he was clearly not the best player in the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos. They carried him basically to that second Super Bowl victory. Joe Montana has 4? There are not many who are going to have the accolades that Patrick Mahomes has had within just 3 years as being a starter. So sorry, guys, if I sound like a prisoner of the moment, but I have a funny feeling if he wins this Super Bowl tonight, then for me, I'm going to give him a top 10 place already, and I can hear Marsha and Neil looking at me like, what is Justin drinking? Is he drinking that green tea that Jansen has been having the entire show?
Justin, I love that you brought that up there, man, because you totally can argue and me, all respect to the jersey that's behind me on the wall, man, but Drew Brees, I can argue y'all might hate me, but I can argue he's not a top 10 quarterback of all time just because of how much he underachieved in the key moments in his career. The past 4 years, with the Saints, they just set an NFL record. Most wins in a 4-year span without a Super Bowl appearance. Now, we know the no call that happened, but still, they had a chance to win that football game, and they didn't. Don't get me wrong. Anybody inside 20 yards is not going to touch Drew Brees, probably, maybe in NFL history. We know what Drew Brees can do inside 20 yards. But in terms of, and you saw it later in Brees' career, cracking under the pressure, not necessarily being able to make the plays like he did early on. And I know, obviously, you go through those times from being younger in your career to being older, but I can even recall countless times earlier in Drew Brees' career where he didn't capitalize on those key moments that he had. And unfortunately, I feel like that's where you could separate the two. And it sucks that Drew Brees didn't win an MVP. You can argue he was robbed of at least one, maybe two. But when you grow up in an era with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, it's kind of hard to work your way up there. Not taking anything away from the guys that went over him, because obviously Drew didn't perform well enough, but he came in second 4 times in his career for the MVP. So go figure on that aspect, man.
Anything you want to add there, Johnson?
Yes, I want to say that basically Patrick Mahomes, I have to see more, man. I mean, I get what you're saying, Justin. You made a lot of valid points. You made a lot of valid points about some of these Hall of Famers, and you kind of called out Elway a little bit and Drew Brees, but what I'm going to say is this: I just have to see more. I just have to see more because I don't know if he'll be injury prone. And I know I sound like a hater, but it's just the truth. You got to see guys be healthy. You feel me? You have to see if the Chiefs could still have that success or who else is coming up. Because this league changes so much. You think one way and something else happens. Who would have thought what would happen with the Patriots? But I'm not going to sit here and say the Chiefs could do the same thing. I don't know. I was kind of thinking it was irresponsible for Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes to allude that they were chasing Brady and the Patriots, their success. I'm like, dude, that's 6 rings in. Okay? Win back-to-back first, then start talking. So I had a big problem with that, but obviously, they're back in the Super Bowl. I didn't think that would happen at all. That's very impressive. So they win this year and they win next year. Then I think what you're saying, Justin, is very relevant. Next year, I don't have an argument, honestly.
So in light of that, guys, we've talked about, I guess all of us are basically saying Tom Brady is the greatest player of all time and Patrick Mahomes may one day get there. So in light of that, considering these two are about to face off tonight, do y'all believe that this is the greatest quarterback matchup of all time in a Super Bowl?
That's a good one. I'll give it to it. I like the hype. I'm going to give it to it, but it's very close because I even thought Drew Brees versus Peyton Manning, that's up there. There's a bunch of matchups, man, and I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, Justin. I agree with you. This is the greatest matchup. This is hyped up, social media, all that good stuff. Brady chasing the 7th ring. Mahomes trying to go back-to-back, the student versus the teacher, all that good stuff. I know you guys have even more things to add to that, but yeah, I'll give you that.
Man, this is kind of tough to say because you talk about the great quarterback matchups that you've seen in the Super Bowl, Breeze and Manning. You've seen Big Ben in there. You've obviously seen so many fantastic quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. It's kind of hard for me to put my mind on which one I would specifically bring to the top. Definitely got to this one. Of course, you got to even include the Breeze and Manning Super Bowl, like you said. I know there was plenty of times John Elway playing in Super Bowls, and there were good matchups there. But I think when you talk about what stage that
I've lost audio. Are y'all hearing me? Because I'm not hearing Adam. Adam, I think you've muted yourself.
in here.
I can hear. I think you muted yourself. Perhaps mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
No, Adam, I'm not sure if anyone's hearing me, but my connection has been bad right now. Are you hearing me, Jansen?
I hear you, man. Did you hear?
No, I think it's my connection here giving some problems. So I'll let you continue out and I'll join back the call. Just give me a second, Neil. I'm going to drop out and let the guys continue. So go ahead with your point.
We're talking about the good quarterback match. Like I just read, you got Mahomes and Brady, but I think the stage that is set overall for these guys. You want to talk about the GOAT versus the kid. There's play on words, the careers that are at the on the line, and you've got the current face of the NFL versus the potential face of the NFL overall. That's the greatest quarterback of all time in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Live, man, and appreciate y'all tuning in, and it's been a great show. And I know we're having some technical difficulties, but we're still maintaining. I hope you guys all heard what Adam said. He broke down really well. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Can you hear me?
Yep. Should we might as well roll to the next question? Y'all can hear me? Okay.
Hey guys, so sorry and some technical difficulties. Are y'all hearing me and seeing me well?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so sorry about that. I would have missed Jansen's question. So yes, Jansen, greatest quarterback matchup. Yeah, you did answer. For me, I would have seen some great ones. I would have seen versus Favre. For me, Dan Marino versus Joe Montana. But yeah, I am not sure if we've at any point in time, and I mean maybe we've seen or thought that Dan Marino. Maybe we'd have thought that Dan Marino would have eventually caught Joe Montana as the greatest of all time. But I think you have never seen a situation where the greatest of all time is currently playing in Tom Brady and his heir apparent, obviously, in Patrick Mahomes are about to face off. I don't think we've ever really got the Super Bowl quite to that complexity where we're talking about if one man who we expect to eventually become the greatest of all time, if he doesn't beat this guy, he may never catch him. I don't think we've ever had such a major storyline such like that. So I think, yeah, and as much as I told you all, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but these storylines are so huge and so juicy. And I have seen some great ones. I didn't even get to see, sorry, I'm not that old to see. I would not have seen Johnny Unitas versus Joe Namath. That is a great matchup of two all-time greats. But in this situation, I don't think that we're going to have the things that are online in this game. I don't think we've ever seen that ever in life. You're itching to say something, Adam, so go right ahead.
No, you're good, man. I'm totally right there agreeing with you. You gotta, the United States name of the matchup was obviously great. Like I was, when you have Brady and you have Mahomes, you talk about the potential face of the NFL overall, the greatest player of all time, and Tom Brady versus the current face of the NFL and Patrick Mahomes take over. The ultimate stage that is set, I don't know if there's when you could argue Breeze and Manning, but I think we're just kind of measuring, personal preference at this point. I think it's going to be a fantastic quarterback matchup, though, no question.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time in the quarterbacks because I do believe that they're giving too much credit and too much blame for games. So let us get on to real threats here. Other threats. Tampa Bay is going to have their hands full. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is a extremely prolific offense, and they have a number of players to count for: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman. But in your guys' estimation, I'm going to start with you, Jansen. Which is the bigger concern for that Tampa Bay defense? Dealing with Tyreek Hill or trying to cover Travis Kelce?
He's muted. You're muted, man. You're muted.
Yes, Neil, I'm going to have to in there. We're not hearing or seeing you, Jansen. Oh, Jansen is gone, temporarily gone. So, yeah, I'm talking to me, Adam, same question.
So we're talking about in terms of threats, like who else we could see that potentially just.
Who is the bigger one for you? Which is bigger concern? Would it be Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce as the Tampa Bay defense?
I would say Travis Kelce, like I was mentioning earlier, man, just because, the matchup against those linebackers is going to be insane. Travis Kelce averaging over over 10 catches, over 100 yards and a touchdown so far in this postseason. He's absolutely going off, and you look at what Travis Kelce's been the last 4 years in the NFL, and Levante David and Devin White are definitely going to have their work cut out for them. Like I said, I could potentially see some answers. Some hands to the face, some sort of jabbing kind of going back and forth between these guys. It's going to be physical. It's going to be aggressive. Tampa Bay's linebacking core is arguably the best in the NFL. One of the top tiers without question. And Travis Kelce, the best tight end in football. It's definitely going to be a matchup to keep your eyes
on. For me, I don't know, because I think, like Adam, they're so great in tandem. I think one helps the other in that, with Travis Kelce over the middle, that kind of frees up.
Got kicked out.
Yeah, that kind of frees up thing one-on-one. Like, you're going to have to leave like a safety or a linebacker with help with Travis Kelce over the middle. And that often leaves, Tyreek Hill over the top one-on-one. And then when you do have to double up or send safety help over Tyreek Hill's way, then that leaves Travis Kelce with favorable one-on-one matchups on the inside. So as a defensive coordinator, I wouldn't know what to do, to be quite honest. But you hit on it. Like, in their regular season matchup, I think Tyreek Hill went off for 200 and something yards in the first quarter alone. So, and we always talk about it. We saw Scotty Miller versus my own Green Bay Packers. Speed kills. Speed is such a huge weapon in this game. Something that you have to account for. So, for me, I don't know for you personally, but I'd give the edge to Tyreek Hill clearly because, as we know in the red zone, the huge body. No, go ahead, Adam.
The fastest man in pads, Tyreek Hill. He's nasty, the cheetah.
Yeah, speed. You have to count for speed at all times. So I'm going to say, and his mere ability to stretch the field is going to open up things on underneath for Travis Kelce. Though, when it gets down the red zone, you know that Travis Kelce is the bigger and more important of the two options. But, yeah, I'm going to lean towards Tyreek Hill simply because of the speed and his ability to stretch the floor. So, yes, Jansen, welcome back. So I'm going to ask you again, Jansen, in your estimation, which is bigger of the two matchups or the bigger threat for that Tampa Bay defense, dealing with Travis Kelce or dealing with Tyreek Hill? No, I think we still have connection issues with Jansen. Should we go right ahead and Adam to next question?
Go right ahead, man.
Yeah, I think we will sort out Jansen just shortly.
Issues over there.
All right. Well, we mentioned Tampa Bay's defense, and obviously, they're not the only defense playing we have Kansas City's defense obviously in this game as well. Adam, in your estimation, which defense is better equipped to handle the opposing team's offense?
I think it's definitely going to be Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay always has the better defense all around. They definitely have the better defensive line. I want to say Kansas City definitely has a better secondary because you can look at the regular season stats and just overall look how Tampa Bay has really had an average to bottom end pass defense against Kansas City, who is top 5 in the NFL in the regular season. But I want to say overall in the playoffs, this Tampa Bay defense has really come alive. They've really known how to force turnovers, and overall, they're just playing hard for Tom Brady. They're playing their hearts out for the go because they know they want to win a Super Bowl. They know that they are there because of Tom Brady. And yes, Todd Bowles as well, and obviously all of the players, but Tom Brady's decision-making in the regular season, being able to play so well on 3 straight road games, that you're going back home and playing the Super Bowl in their backyard, absolutely, I think it's Tampa Bay. And you definitely look at the Chiefs' offensive line against that Tampa Bay pass rush. They are vaunted, like you mentioned, top 5 in the NFL, 4th overall, technically speaking, in sacks. So I'm going to take that Tampa Bay defense definitely over Kansas City's. I think they're going to wreak hell, potentially. Mahomes can move, but he's down some tackles, and that center's got COVID, so we'll see what happens, man.
I can't put it any better, Adam. I don't know what can I follow and say other than watching that NFC title game. You saw the difference in that game was really Tampa Bay's front 7. And you've been on this show long enough, and anyone new to the show, one of my tenets in football is that we focus too much on position players. We focus too much on stars, quarterbacks. And for me, games are decided in the trenches. And I honestly believe, as you mentioned, with the injuries to both Eric Fisher and then their starting right tackle, and then, you had issues with your center, to go against that front 7. I mean, when you look first, Vita Vea has come back, and he demands a double team in the middle of that defense. Then next to him is Ndamukong Suh on the outside, Shaq Barrett, and also JPP. And then you made earlier mention of their 2 linebackers, who I think are going to be very key to this game, especially if Patrick Mahomes breaks containment. I think that they're going to task Levante David with spying on him. And then you still have Devin White. And they end-to-end are probably the fastest inside linebackers in the entire game.
Agreed.
And if there is a weakness on Kansas City, it's always been that offensive line. If they can dominate that offensive line without having to bring blitzes, without having to bring extra defenders on a blitz, because we do know what happens. Like Patrick Mahomes picks up blitzes better than any quarterback not named Tom Brady in the NFL. And if you have to bring extra defenders, he is going to absolutely torch you. But if you can get home with just a front 4 or, just that rush of your front 7, man, I don't know. And obviously, a lot of people say you want to keep Patrick Mahomes inside the pocket, but they have the players to chase him down in Devin White and Levante David. We saw what it did to my fronts, my offensive line. And my offensive line, I want to say, is times better than Kansas City without their injuries. And then with their injuries, I do believe that Tampa Bay front 7, and I don't want to give too much into my pick, but I think that front 7 is going to be the difference in that game.
Agreed, man. Totally. It could really be won and lost in the trenches. It could be a long day for Kansas City if the trenches are not in favor.
I don't want to take anything away from Kansas City, though, because I do believe in the Honey Badger, and clearly their secondary is a lot better than Tampa Bay's, which is very opportunistic. They take chances, but regular season matchup, they can get burnt. And as much as Aaron Rodgers did have an interception, he also had 3 touchdown passes against him. So that Tampa Bay secondary can be had, and Kansas City's secondary, led by Honey Badger, is a lot better. But up front, I don't know. Kansas City can get after Tom Brady like Tampa Bay can get after Patrick Mahomes. What do you think?
I definitely do think. So who's going to get after the quarterback better? I think Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay better, just because, like we were saying, man, being down those 2 tackles is going to be hard. I know Mahomes can move, and I know Brady can't, but I believe that entire Tampa Bay team has just come alive, man. And they're just playing better football, I feel like, than Kansas City right now as well. They're playing very well. I know Brady's coming off a 3-interception game, but he's been to the Super Bowl before. He's bringing a totally different prep. Nothing matters from the season up until right now that's going to happen in the And overall, I do think that Tampa Bay will be able to rush the ball better, or rush the passer, better than Kansas City will, for sure.
Well, there is one way to slow down the pass rush, as we know, Adam, watching football long enough, and that is to run the football. In this game, in your estimation, again, Adam, though, which team's group of running backs will have the bigger impact to slow down that pass rush on both sides?
Which running backs will be able to slow down the pass rush? I'd probably say I'd say Kansas City's, just because obviously Bell and Edwards-Helaire can get out there and they can get shifty in the passing game. You know, Le'Veon Bell was catching passes out of the backfield long before Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara were, and a lot of people, tend to forget that in Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell is definitely a great running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, being a rookie, is definitely able to ball out as well. And I like Rojo and I like Fournette, but they're definitely more of on the ground, bell cow back, especially Rojo. Fournette as well, but they're going to really beat you on the outside or up the middle. They're not going to necessarily hit you with a screen or maybe a pass. Now, they could, but I definitely see Kansas City having more of that effectiveness because the passing game is better, and I think the backs are more elusive for the Chiefs.
I agree with you, Adam. But oddly enough, I'm going to switch up a bit and shock you, because I think Tampa Bay, well, I agree with you that Clyde Edwards-Helaire and obviously, oh my God, words are defeating me right now. But Le'Veon Bell, sorry. They are better running backs than Rojo and Leonard Fournette in my estimation. But I think Tampa Bay has to be committed to running the football to make sure that Kansas City's on the sideline, or more importantly, Patrick Mahomes and that offense stays on the sideline. I am not sure if Andy Reid is going to commit to the run, especially against that front seven. Those two inside linebackers, I'm not sure if you've seen them up close and personal in any games. In fact, you played them twice this season.
Right.
I'm not sure they're a better tandem of inside linebackers than them right now. And you heard me talk. Part of playing Tampa Bay, you don't want to be made one-dimensional, and that's what they did against my Green Bay Packers in the NFC title game. They completely made me one-dimensional by taking away the run. So I think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire and, to a lesser extent, Le'Veon Bell will have problems running the football. I don't think Andy Reid wants to run the football, quite frankly. So I think wanting to win the time of possession, I think Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich is going to. I think they're going to dial up a heavy dose of run, especially with Rojo, because we've seen he's not a guy that comes down with first contact. He is very, very hard to bring down, especially with just one defender. If you leave him on with a defensive back, especially, he's going to make a mess. And Leonard Fournette is a very, very big body. So I have a feeling that we're going to see a heavy dose of the run. And if there's one huge weakness of that Kansas City defense, I don't know if you agree, Adam, is that they have problems traditionally stopping the run, especially right up the gut. So I want to say then, I'm going to go with Rojo and Leonard Fournette for me in this one. Jansen, do we have you back fully, my man? Are you finished drinking your green tea?
No, my bad, man. I don't know what's going on with the connection. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me? Yeah, to piggyback off your point, man, I think Fournette, he needs to get it going. He needs to run hard. Hopefully he gets carries today. And if he gets enough carries and he runs hard, he needs 15 to 20 if they're going to win today. And if he's able to do that, I think that's going to definitely dictate the pace for the Bucs, and they're going to control field position. If that happens, I've been a little disappointed with how they've been using him since he's been on the Bucs. I don't think they're using him how Jacksonville's using him, but obviously they've been successful. But they're going to need a running game if they're going to get an advantage on the Chiefs.
Agreed.
I am with 100%. Before we get to my next question, guys, though, there has been some other stuff outside of the Super Bowl. We're hearing now rumors that Carson Wentz is certainly to be traded. It just depends on who. So, guys, where do you think Carson Wentz is going to end up?
Jansen,
I think Carson Wentz ends up with the Colts, but I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I'm not the biggest Carson Wentz fan. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be worth what they're going to probably get for him, which is 2 first-round picks, maybe 3 first-round picks. But if I'm some of these teams, I don't think the market is that big. I don't think Carson Wentz hasn't proven he's a winner. I don't think he's proven he's a winner. And I'm confused about the whole situation, to be honest with you, Justin and Adam. I think that Carson Wentz, I thought the team, the Eagles, were built for him. I thought they fired Doug Peterson because Doug Peterson didn't want to commit to him. So I'm confused about the whole situation because the narrative went from Doug Peterson's the problem. We want Carson Wentz to start. Now Carson Wentz wants to go. What the hell did you fire Doug Peterson for? So I'm confused. I'm confused on the situation.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is definitely a tough situation. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Jansen, saying that Carson Wentz isn't a winner just because he's dealt with so many injuries. He still did get Philadelphia, get them the seed. Carson Wentz showed that when he's up, his career. I think Carson Wentz can play. I'm not a big Carson Wentz fan as well because it's kind of like the Matthew Stafford syndrome. We know he's talented. It's battling with injuries. All this hype. We know what he can do, but he's still kind of been an underachiever in a way. I could see Wentz going to the Colts as well because you look at Frank Reich in the unity and the chemistry there. But I'm also agreeing with you as well, Jansen. You know, what the hell are the Eagles doing? You just paid Carson Wentz all this money. You've got all the talent around him. And after drafting Jalen Hurts, it's kind of confusing with Philadelphia right now. So I don't really know where Carson Wentz will go. I do think he would look good in Indianapolis, though, without question.
I just thought I would drop that in there just to break up the Super Bowl monotony. But let's just right down to the real questions everyone wants to know. So beginning here, and I'm going to go back to you, Adam. Whose quarterback has to be on their A game for their team to win? Is it Tampa Bay or Kansas City? Obviously Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. Which quarterback has to be at their best for their team to have a chance to win?
I think it's definitely Tom Brady because Tom Brady could struggle early on. We've seen the Bucs start out slow. We've seen the Chiefs start out slow as well. But we know Mahomes is a bigger athlete than Tom Brady. And obviously Mahomes is going to be able to make up for the lack of knowledge and Super Bowl experience with the improv and with the athleticism versus Brady's seen it all before. And I believe personally that Mahomes will have a better game than Brady, but Brady's team will play better than the Chiefs, which is why I do think the Bucs will take it. Don't want to spoil our picks just yet. I know we're getting there. But Brady definitely has to be on his A game more than Mahomes does because, unfortunately, I feel like we've seen more cracks from Brady this year than we have with Patrick.
What do you feel, Jansen?
I don't even know if Jansen is connected, man.
Yeah, Jansen has had some connectivity issues today. Well, I'm going to fill in for Jansen then. I'm going to actually disagree with you here, Adam. I'm going to make this show a bit interesting now. I'm going to say it's going to have to be Patrick Mahomes because we both agreed that Tampa Bay's defense is better equipped at winning this game for Tampa Bay more so than Kansas City. So I believe, and we saw in the NFC Championship game, Tom Brady had a poor second half. Like, he was terrible. Like, Tom Brady had 3 interceptions and missed on a couple. I think, like, the first interception, he kind of earmailed Mike Evans leading to that, and I think that first interception led to Green Bay's score. We have seen Tom Brady have so to bad games in Tampa Bay, and not many. And this Tampa Bay team find a way to win because their defense is so talented, as you mentioned early on. This is really a stat roster. With the injuries to the tackles and, questions surrounding their center for Kansas City, I almost feel like Patrick Mahomes has to be near perfect to win, especially if Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich are smart enough to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline and limit their possessions. I have a very, very strong feeling that Patrick Mahomes is going to almost have to be perfect today to win this game. And I mean, I'm not discrediting you or saying what you're wrong, but I really do feel that if this does not come into a shootout, because if this does become a shootout, Adam, make no mistake, you're correct. I do believe then that Tom Brady has to be firing on all cylinders. But if this is a low-scoring game or like Kansas City doesn't have the number of possessions that they're accustomed to. Like, let's say for argument's sake, say Kansas City only possesses the game or possesses the football 5 times. In those 5 times, I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be damn near perfect to win this game for Kansas City.
I like what you're saying there, man. And like you were talking about with Patrick Mahomes having to really have those key instances because Tampa Bay's going to try to keep him off the field a lot. I feel like you could play the same thing with Brady because if Brady's giving Mahomes extra possession, Tom Brady throws any more than 1 interception in the Super Bowl, he will not win this football game because you cannot give Patrick Mahomes. It's what Brady's always been able to do. You give Brady a short field, he's going to make you pay hell. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Definitely agree with that.
I didn't see it from that angle, and I kind of have to agree with you because, unlike Green Bay, 2 of those 3 interceptions, the Packers did not convert into points. You're exactly correct, Adam. You cannot give this Kansas City offense extra possessions, especially if the offensive possessions are already limited in this game. Yeah, I didn't think of that angle at all. Yeah, well, you're here teaching me the game, Adam. Yes, you can't give Kansas City any more possessions that they're going to have. Like, it's a situation where I'm in a prop bet. Are you in any prop bets, by the way, Adam? Just got to ask.
Prop bets are cool. Yeah, I like over-unders on like receiving yards, rushing touchdowns, whatever it may be. I'm here for it, man. If you've got any, I'm definitely here to rattle off some.
No, the reason why I ask is because I'm in one, and one of the prop bets that they asked is, will the team that wins a coin toss defer? And I almost believe that, I feel now it's a situation where everyone wants to defer because everyone wants to do that double up. Like, get a chance to score before the half, get back the football, and score on the opposite side of the half. So that, you get basically 2 straight possessions of scoring the football. So it's almost, I believe, it's a lot because obviously there are a number of other bets within this prop bet. But I wanted to put that as a lot. Like, any team that wins this coin toss is going to defer because they just want the football to start the second half. But you're absolutely correct. Like, Adam, you can't give this Kansas City offense any extra possessions.
The last 7 teams to win the coin toss in the Super Bowl have lost.
Really?
Yep, the last 7 teams in a row, the last 7 straight years, whoever wins the coin toss loses the game. Yep. Crazy, isn't it? Oh, that's crazy. I think that could just maybe be 7 straight years of coincidence, but honestly, man, I don't know. That says a lot.
Wow, that is crazy. That's not like saying 7 straight years of somebody winning with tails. And by the way, we have a saying, tails never fails. By the way, like, that's a known thing.
Bro, it's got to be tails.
But
tails never fails.
Randy Moss, that's right. Tails never fails. But that is crazy coincidence that, well, I guess no one wants to win this coin toss today. Let's get to it though, Adam, then. In that situation, then, who wins the Super Bowl MVP in your estimation?
So with the Buccaneers winning tonight, I could really see a Super Bowl MVP being a guy like maybe a linebacker. Maybe, I definitely see it. For some reason, I just see it being a defensive play, like maybe a Jason Pierre-Paul, a Vita Vea with a strip sack, Devin White and Levante David potentially just locking up Travis Kelce. I mean, I'm not really sure who it could be, but I just definitely feel a defensive player for Tampa. I don't know why.
You're making this show boring because I'm going on that side. Like, I'm actually picked out Devin White. I've gone straight to say I think Devin White is going to be this game's MVP because you're going to ask him to do so much. I think you're going to ask for times you're going to see him shadowing Travis Kelce. Other times I think you're going to see him spying on Patrick Mahomes when he tries to break containment. Yep. And I want to tell you, Devin White is fast enough to keep an eye on Patrick Mahomes. And we know Patrick Mahomes is sneaky athletic. But, yeah, I've seen Devin White's speed now 2 times. Like, you've seen him 3.
Yep.
Like, wow, he is a game wrecker. So, like, I know a lot of guys want to go with Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill, but Mike Evans even. But, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I wrote it down. Like, I honestly believe then Devin White has a serious chance to be this game's MVP. And with that being said, if you said Devin White is the MVP, then obviously you have the Buccaneers winning this game. So give me a score line, and why do you have the Bucs winning?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So the health for the Buccaneers is just really in favor over the health for Kansas City. Kansas City being down on the line, being down, potentially DeMarcus Robinson. I know Le'Veon Bell was kind of questionable. Don't know if he's going to play. And there's just a lot of things pointing for Kansas City not to win this football game. I know it's saying, that's all the reason for Mahomes to be wild and pull out his magic and win. You're right, but Tampa Bay is also at home, and they just played 3 straight road games, and they were not favored in any of those road games besides against Washington. Nobody, Tampa Bay immensely overachieved this year. They're not supposed to be here, and they are here. Tom Brady, number 10. he would be the one quarterback to host the Super Bowl in his own home. Like it's
of course.
For Tampa Bay. I think, I'm going to go ahead and give you my key factors that I actually just put out in the podcast yesterday. Brady Mahomes. Brady's got to play better than Mahomes. Travis Kelce and those linebackers. If those linebackers do not control Travis Kelce, Kansas City's probably going to win. Then you've got Carlton Davis and Tyreek Hill. I have Tyreek Hill winning that matchup, but Carlton Davis is going to need help from those safeties to contain him. And then last but not least, probably the most important part in which I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game is trench play. You look at the run game against Kansas City. They're not the best at stopping the run. We said it when my Saints played them. Why the hell did Kamara not get more touches? Why the hell did L Train not get more touches against the Chiefs? Then you look at the fact that the pass rush against the Chiefs O-line, Vita Vea, JPP, Shaq Barrett, you've got that all front seven can rush the passer effectively. That's really rare to say, that your entire front seven can effectively get to the passer. You could send all seven and probably all seven of them can get to the ball. Realistically, that's how great both the schemes are. And honestly, Tampa Bay is that good at blitzing the football. I know it sounds like it's going to be a landslide, but it's not. I'm taking Tampa Bay. Tom Brady with number 7 in Super Bowl number 10, 31-27. Over under at 56.5. I will take the over and put it at 58.
I need to get on a betting app. Yeah, I remember that you had a partnership with a betting app, was it?
Yeah.
Correct?
Still on with them. I need to put out my content more. It sucks to say that I'm slacking on it because I'm really just not putting money in my own pockets to really give myself the opportunity. But anyone that's watching real quick, check out Prize Picks, literally all one word. Super easy. All you do is wager the over or under on a player's fantasy points. They've even put out a new single stat. So let's say you think Travis Kelce's only going to get 95 receiving yards tonight and you take the over. That's it. If you get it right, you can win money due from 1 to 5 players, stats, whatever you want it to be, any sports, esports, soccer, football, basketball, anything. Go check out Prize Picks, and you can use my code offseason, OFFSZN. Get your first $50 matched, but it's only if you want to, guys. Go check it out. Sorry, man, I had to get a little cross promo in there.
Nah, I love it. Actually, be sure. Let's remind me. Send that next time that we're messaging. Please send me that. I keep forgetting. For me, I hate to say this because I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan. I respect his greatness, and he is the best quarterback of time. Yes, I also have Tampa Bay winning. Write it down, Neil. Put it on your pen and pad. I know you were writing down and laughing. 31-28. Yeah, almost the same thing as Adam, just not 27. 31-28. And for the entire show, we keep talking about it. I think the difference is the trenches. And you mentioned health. I keep saying everyone in football or in sports, we like to watch the stars. So we focus too much on Patrick Mahomes. We focus too much on Tom Brady. But football games are won in the trenches. And Chiefs are missing their 2 starting tackles. There are issues with the health of their starting center. And this is the worst game. Like, if they had any other matchup, let's say they were playing Buffalo or they were playing even my Packers, they may be able to get away with that, injured front. You just can't have that against Tampa Bay. I mentioned the names, but I'm going to mention them again. Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh right up the middle. On the outside, you have Shaq Barrett and JPP. Yeah, and then those inside linebackers who are so key to what they do. To Levante David and Devin White. Those 6 players are going to have such a key to this game. I think they're going to wreck Kansas City's offensive game plan. Make no mistake, Andy Reid knows this, though, and I suspect what we're going to see is a lot. Like, Patrick Mahomes is going to get the ball out a lot quicker in this game. I really do expect that. I think he's going to be a lot short passes, a lot of dump offs, a lot of naked bootlegs. Just get the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands quickly. But, again, those linebackers make up for so much and make up so much ground. So, for me, I have Devin White winning the MVP. Buccaneers 31-28. I suspect, though, everyone is going to want to make this about Tom Brady, but I think it's really Tampa Bay's defense that is going to be the key to winning this game. And that's it for me. Before we sign out of here, 2 things, Adam, I'm going to ask you first. What are you doing for the game? Like, what's your tradition, or what are you doing different to watch the game tonight?
Man, honestly, I'm just chilling at the house. You know, I was going to potentially maybe have the lady bring some wings home, but she's not going to get home until maybe about 9 o'clock. So honestly, I'm just going to relax, just going to watch the game with my roommate. You know, we're really close friends. It's actually my best friend. We're just going to watch the game together, you know, just chop it up. You know, probably just drink some beer. We got a little $10 bet on the game. I'm taking the Bucks. He's taking the Chiefs. So it's going to be a good time. Yeah, man, I'm just happy to see some football. You know, it's really crazy to think that here we were looking at Kansas City playing in the very first game of the year, just absolutely taking advantage of Houston early on, not knowing that Houston was going to be a dumpster fire this year. And here's
absolute trash.
Yeah, garbage. And here's Kansas City playing against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, and just
could we have asked for a better matchup this Super Bowl, Adam? Like, really?
I said that they could have had the Super Bowl champions. They're here, and they're probably going to have the feeling to be Super Bowl champs. But yeah, man, I'm just watching the game. You know, just hanging out at the house watching the game. I was going to go somewhere, but I don't need to spend any money. And honestly, I ain't going to go broke unless the Saints are in the Super Bowl. So that's that.
And the second thing, as you know, we always end off the show telling our guys, what do you have coming up on What Off Season Podcast?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So, big announcement. Actually, y'all are going to be the first people, everybody on the slide to know. I'm going to drop the official announcement tomorrow. But at What Off Season Sports Pod, you can find me, or at What Off Season Pod, WHATOFFSZN POD, or throw sports in there before the pod, wherever you find me. And if you do find me, just check the link. It's every bit of content on all the platforms I'm putting out. But just put out my Super Bowl predictions and my NFL awards yesterday. That's on YouTube. Please go check that out at the What Off Season Sports Podcast. Drop me a like, follow, sub, whatever it may be. I've got you back. But for this Friday, we have a very special guest coming on. We are going to be bringing on the former Steelers linebacker and 1997 linebacker of the year, Levon Kirkland from the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be a huge show. What a pass rusher. What a linebacker. Overall, just a beast in the game. Was happy to hit him up on Instagram and get the agreement. So we're going to be recording Wednesday. I'm going to drop it on Friday. Bringing another guest interview for you guys. So hopefully going to blow this one up just like we did with Brian McFadden. Got another Steelers player, but let alone it's a former NFL athlete giving me his time of the day, so I'm always grateful.
I mean, I'm saying you have to be grateful. That's completely awesome. Guys, yeah, we're not going too far. Tomorrow, you know, the same thing. We do our YouTube live shows right here on Monday, and you've seen our new format. Neil has done a tremendous job with this graphics and the overlay. So I absolutely love it, this new show. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep Jansen in of whatever technical reasons that we have had. But yeah, so tomorrow, just let's come back to the same space. I don't want to say same bat time because we are at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to review our Super Bowl. Hopefully I got my pick right and all of those prop bets I have with Gina. Then Thursdays, Adam and I on Instagram as per usual. So I want to thank everyone for dropping in, Jansen, particularly my guy Adam. I know y'all guys love our collabs, and we'll keep bringing them for you. But for Jansen Harris of the Just Good Network, Adam of What Off Season Podcast, I am Justin of This Just In. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Marsh, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Come back tomorrow, and we're signing out.
Go Bucks!
I don't have a mark on my face, and my upset's not in Lisbon, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world, I talk to God every day. If God's with me, ain't nobody here just the same. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
I said, can I be a legend? Search your soul and answer me this question. Do you think I have what it takes to be great, but still be humble and learn from my mistakes? Shit.